Welcome to Black Angus Reviews. This is my review of Batman Curse of the White Knight, Book 7. Hey, welcome to the channel. Doing a Batman comic, Curse of the White Knight, Book 7. It's going to be awesome, but beforehand, I want to show another find I got at the comic store where I'm at. They do some collected editions, usually up to 8 issues, sometimes more, and those are usually $30 or more, up to the hundreds, depending on the set. But I found this. It's by none other than Jim Starlin, and this came out in 92 or 93. So this is a couple years after he did the Infinity Gauntlet, which, of course, Infinity War and Endgame are based on. So I'm interested to see what he does just with one street level character. So perhaps look forward to that. Now let's get on to the main event here. Curse of the White Knight. This is very weird. The covers have had a style where it's like a character and maybe a second one on the Curse of the White Knight logo, but this one really stuck out. And the other cover that was available at my store was Edmund Wayne, I think it's his name. So I had to go for this one just because this looked bad. Not just because of Harley, you know, go with the pretty girl, but just this felt like Gotham. I like what Gordon Murphy does here with color and contrast. He really utilizes shadow and just black and whatnot to draw you where he wants you to look and stuff. And there's so many details, like right here is Napier with his silly gun and Joker in the reflection of the water. So this is a detail I caught right before I did this review. Another thing before we dig into this, I didn't know if this is going to go further than 8 issues like the last series White Knight did, but it is stopping at 8. This is the second to last issue, and I'm like, what is going on? Last issue, the person I was kind of financing, pulling out his strings to help Azrael, Ruth, he burned her. Bane challenged him, and he talked about like, oh yeah, I leave the cords out to let people come at me. And then he's like, oh yeah, no problem. And he just cuts Bane's head off. Bane had like no function in this story. You know, and there's a reference to Nightfall actually, where Azrael almost breaks Barbara's back, Batgirl. So that's kind of cool. No, me knowing that much about Batman. Batman is one of my favorite characters. Let's dig into this, guys. It's really cool. Something I noticed, I'll have to look at the other issues, but it's with this one, it just goes White Knight, nice like interior cover, and then boom, we're in the story. All right, and then these 2 or 3 pages are, it's kind of bluish gray. It looks at the somber tones. This is a past recollection by Bruce of how everything kind of started from his parents. And I like what Gordon Murphy did here. He really made the death of the Waynes and the inspiration for Batman. He really took it and made it, add his own flavor to it, up his own stamp. He utilized the film they saw as a tie-in to Bruce's culpability for his parents dying. Bruce wanted to use his father's rapiers or cutlass, whatever you call these swords, and so that's why he wanted to see Mask of Zorro, so he would know how to use it. And so he feels guilty, and to get him to go to the funeral and to start healing and going forward, Alfred's like, I'll train you, you know, if you go to this funeral. And then we cut to present day, after this last ordeal where Harley had to kill Joker. Batman challenged Azrael in his own tech suit, which is cool. There's a good challenge there. It's a good duel, especially after Azrael wiped out pretty much all the rogues gallery and freed Napier. Now they teamed up. So this is the aftermath. I feel that's one of the shortcomings of this book is, you know, Harley, she's been so intertwined with Batman and Joker, this kind of weird triangle or square, if you will, because Napier and Joker are 2 characters she's in love with at different times. I feel like they just kind of bypassed the whole, like, hey, the guy kind of kicked this whole, you know, rock downhill, this pebble snowball, Napier. He's gone now, but they never really seem to address it, besides the fact that she lied about knowing this detail that he figures out later about his lineage, that he's actually, the Waynes, as we know them, are a bastardization. These 2 people kind of swap names and stuff, so he's been living this life from his lineage, that he's not even a Wayne. And so, yeah, it's really cool. Another thing, I don't know if I said it, but not only is there use of shadow and stuff to really draw you into where Gordon wants you to look at, but again, I'll have to look at other issues. He uses black instead of white around all these panels. It's usually white bordering the panels. So that really stands out, especially when you got something like this where it just focuses just on these two talking, and they're already like in the dark in certain ways, and it's a dark story. But he just lets it get captured completely by the page. That's kind of cool, because this is actually probably spilling out of the panel if he did normal white, perhaps. And then let's see, yeah, this is really cool. You cut to actually before the lighting. You know, I talked about the past thought here, this recollection. And then it switches to this like soft pinkish red. This adds to this kind of will they won't they, with Harley and Bruce, or Batman, whatever. It feels somber, it feels light. This is a cool down issue. There's not a lot of action in this issue, so it's kind of abrupt when you get this full page splash of Azrael in the Bat-Tech suit. It feels like a movie cutaway. Like, okay, the movie's starting, or this chapter is starting. And now we're switching scenes, and boom, remember Azrael? He's going home now. He just fought Batman, and now he's down to his last cancer pill. So that's all the motivation this guy needs. And then it switches white, and this really lightens up. I can't figure out if this is tied to Bruce or not. Bruce versus Batman. I haven't seen quite because there's a couple scenes in this white section, or this lighter section, that are Batman, not Bruce. So I haven't figured out the pattern or the reason for this kind of artistic levity of emotion, but they don't bog down too much. It's just a couple pages of Barbara. There's a lot of info about the philosophy of Gordon with Batman that he gets to continue going forward. And then Montoya is going to, you know, tell Polk what they're looking for, and then Batman kind of shows his power and effect over Gotham. It's a really cool shot here. It's one panel, because Batman is towering over people. I think this shows the kind of power and balance Bruce is now aware of, that he's always had on the city with his vigilantism. But he's addressing the people, and he's talking about how he's fought and everything. Everyone's listening, and he reveals himself to be Bruce Wayne. So this kind of one-ups the stakes left at the end of White Knight, where he reveals to Gordon he is Bruce Wayne. Okay, so he gives, heart-to-heart to the city, and he asks them, I want to do one last thing for you before I liquidate Wayne Corp and everything I have and give it back to the people and offset taxes and debt for the city. Because the White Knight, one of the things going on was there was this whole misappropriation of funds that Wayne covered in secret, which really only helped the rich take up more land from poor people and keep them sectioned off in their areas. Kind of getting into politics and the poor, keeping the poor without really getting political. It's really threading the needle. Yeah, Batman here is asking the city, just give me one last time to right this ship, and we'll go forward. And he asks them to keep the streets clear for him. That's going to be his sign. Montoya doesn't like it, of course, but he just kind of takes over, which is interesting. Oh, no. Ah, damn it. The stitching came undone. Damn it. Anyway, we'll continue. Yeah, see, you continue, like, you kind of went back and forth. Back here, he's, black, but then he's with people, and it's there's some levity here with the panel bordering. And it turns out he's down to his last car, the 89 Batmobile. Batman says that's his favorite, and I think Gordon Murphy's kind of channeling his own fandom here, showing his favoritism to the 89 Mobile. But it's a really nice car, so I don't blame him. And normally this kind of dialogue from Batman where it's like, are you nuts? And they say, let's get nuts. Normally, that would read cringy or dumb, but I can hear Conroy saying that. And I get a lot of Conroy narration through this. And you get a little levity again in a different way with some bluish gray. It really stands out when it switches. It just starts getting darker and redder, more vibrant, and really adds to the tension going forward. So you see there's a lot of stark bright red, and the black's kind of fading, getting dark. Of course, gets to the borders, and Batman's just here on a nice empty, I would say, Times Square filler, if you will. And there's this really nice splash page here with one word bubble. Man, that looks really good. I actually would have, I don't know, I would have had a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth. I would have had a, I don't know, a 6, or I would have just used this word bubble and put it over here somewhere. It's just my quick little nitpick, but yeah. And then, you know, they locate Azrael, they're on the move, they're coordinating with the GTO, and now you got the last issue coming. I hope it's a bigger issue. It's the one complaint, because these are $5, these black labels. It's good, it's worth it. Great storytelling, it's worth paying more than waiting for the trade paperback, but I would just like a little bit more beef here for the last issue, Sean Gordon. So I'm hoping home for something just stellar that takes me a little bit more time to read. One thing I can complain about here with this Black Label series is I've never been upsold other Black Label stuff from White Knight or Curse of the White Knight. So you got this boring page of who's working on it. Okay. And there's like nothing to like pop besides just the stark white logo and stuff in the names. And then there's just a black page. I mean, all that fluting, and you're not even putting anything on it to make it worthwhile to ignore the fluting. And then you get to a lot of reveals of kind of keying in people where it's going with these black and white pages being shown, which really looks good. I would like a black and white version of White Knight and Curse of the White Knight. Yeah, it looks really good. There's this, you know, looks like something's going on with Harley, perhaps waiting on Batman or something. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it seems going to be some good tension. One thing you notice is Batman with a gun. And of course, he used a gun, or had a gun last issue and didn't act. It felt like a very Batman thing, but, you know, it cost someone. And this is something else I can complain about. This page here, this is the cover that I just bought. Now, I figured maybe this is in the Edmund Wayne version as well, but it's the cover. It's not even like a black and white version of the cover. You just put the cover inside the book again, full page. You could be selling me some more Black Label or just DC products coming, more Batman, more Sean Gordon Murphy for DC or something. So there's a lot of wasted pages, and they keep doing this every issue. It's like, hey, get White Knight, the first series, and it's like, dude, I'm on issue 7 of the second series. Like, I know about this. We already have read it or have bought it, you know. And then it's just boring, you know, DC Black Label. I guess they want this to look like quality, to feel like, I don't know, this is like the James Bond level of reading comics or something. Like you're getting a treat. This is, you know, a higher quality than a normal floppy. And it's cool. It's good packaging and stuff, you know. It feels nice and everything, but I don't know. They could be doing a few things better. Maybe we should let them know. But yeah, Curse of the White Knight. We've got 1 issue left. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I have a lot of hope. One thing I'll point out that stuck out to me now, I'm thinking about it, is really irritated about this. About that stitching coming undone for this page. But Nightwing's talking to him, and he's like, he says, are you going to bring him in safely and let him serve his time, or do you have something else in mind? And I was like, what are you saying? You know what I'm saying. And he doesn't say anything. He's like, that's what I thought. It's not worth it, Bruce. You won't be able to live with yourself. Batman doesn't kill. He says, Batman's dead. So is Azrael. So you kind of see the stakes are raised where you know, he reveals himself to the world because the desperate situation have made it where he can't just, you know, suffer the consequences of everyone hating Batman for the moment because the collateral damage. He's forsaken that, revealed himself, and then he's even, you know, seeming to be willing to kill Azrael. And so those are some kind of questionable things, I would say, now that I'm thinking about it, as far as just Batman mythos. But, you know, it's an Elseworld series, so yeah. But yeah, reading that the first time, I'm like, wait a minute, you know, like, if anything, Batman's like, you know, he's always getting to the point. He's getting close to snapping. He's right there on the line of a villain, but he doesn't cross that line. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I overall really liked it. That could be probably something that stands out as controversial discussion for this series for maybe all time, as a Batman interpretation. But yeah, I really highly suggest this. If you're this far and haven't, you know, purchased it, I would just wait for the trade paperback. Save you, you know, half the price of what it is getting it weekly. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. You know, I'm really excited to see what Gordon Murphy does at DC and Indie, whatever this future project is that he's doing on Indiegogo. But that's my review of Book 7, Curse of the White Knight. Give me suggestions in the comments. Let's discuss the book and whatnot. What you think might be happening in the next book. I thought about doing some speculation points, but this video's been going on for long enough. Yeah, see you in the comments.